Can you just clear the background, sir, if it's possible?
No. Hi, Ankith. I think I got disconnected in between. Sorry for that. So I welcome all the viewers to our channel. So today I have with me Mr. Ankith, who has recently cleared NABARD Grade A 2021 exam. And while he has cleared NABARD Grade A 2021 exam, I would like to tell you that he was also one of the working aspirants who used to slog 9 to 10 hours in office. And at the same time, he was determined enough, confident enough to clear NABARD Grade A. So Ankith, welcome you to our channel. And it's indeed a great pleasure to interview one of the most hardworking candidates. So how is the
Thank you,
feeling and
sir.
how is the Josh now after clearing NABARD Grade A?
Josh is very high, sir. First of all, thank you for inviting me on the platform. It's an honor to be on such a big platform.
My pleasure, Ankit. I think I must thank you for taking out time on Sunday from your busy schedule. Now, Ankit, coming back to the set of questions that I think aspirants would like to know from you, would like you to answer. First of all, how did you manage all this while you were working? Because that is a common query. Sir, I'm a working candidate. I am not getting more than 3 hours a day. How should I prepare? How did you manage? And what is your advice to all the working aspirants out there to crack this exam while they are working?
Right, sir. So my straight advice to all the working aspirants would be to stay consistent. While you're working, I can understand you can hardly make up 2-3 hours per day. I'm not talking about weekends. I'm only talking about days, weekdays. You can hardly make about 2-3 hours per day, but try to stay consistent in that time frame and make proper use of your weekends. What I used to do is I used to study consistently 2 to 3 hours per day, and something like 6 hours on weekend. I used to study only 6 hours, but I know people can make it big on weekends, like 10 hours or something. So 6 hours worked for me, but it might not work for everyone. So you can always make full use of weekends. So just stay consistent, just stay confident, believe in yourself, believe in your guide. Everything is going to be smooth.
Fine. So you mean to say that studying 3 hours on weekdays and 6 hours on 6 to 7 hours on weekends is
Yes.
perfectly
It should
fine.
be fine, sir. It should be fine when you have a
And
smart strategy.
and what is the perfect time to study? Do you used to study in the morning or late night? I mean, how you made sure that in those 3 hours you are doing something productive?
There's no such Amrit Kal, sir. You just have to study when you, I mean, there's no such time when you're working actually. There's always short of time. So whenever there's free time, you just have to start studying. You just can't wait for the perfect time because once you come from the office, you always feel tired, especially coming from a bank. I'm working in Union Bank of India. So after dealing with everything, you always feel tired after coming home. So you just have to start because when you don't sacrifice such small things, your goal itself becomes a sacrifice.
Oh my God. I think you have said a very mature line that students would find hard to understand. But that's true. I think it's all about commitment. And what was your main motivation while preparing for NABARD? See, whenever we have a goal, there is always a motivation that helps us survive all the tensions, all the hard times we have. So was it your job itself, the hardships in the banking, which motivated you that no, I want to go to the regulatory
No.
bodies, or was it something else?
No, I'm not so skeptical towards my job profile, but there are a lot of motivations to join NABARD, sir. There's obvious motivatory factors like good pay scale, work-life culture, accommodation, everything is there, prestigious job, everything is there. But apart from that, what motivated me was the functioning of organization, how we directly indulged in the rural development of the country, right? As we discussed before, I was a UPSC aspirant, and serving people has always been a goal for me. With that, NABARD is offering me good pay scale, good work-life culture, good everything, good prestige, everything. So why not? That always stays as a motivation factor. And it always has to be within. You always can't look at pay scale and everything. And that within comes when you look at the functioning of organization, when the activities you look at.
I can understand. So you're talking more about that. No, we should have something intrinsic motivation to pursue our goal, because I think that will help us to be standing tall in the hard times. And Ankit, did any time during your preparation you felt like that it's not my cup of tea, I should give up? What if I do not clear? My efforts will go wasted. What if I should spend this time on something more concrete, which is giving me short returns? Did any thought like that come in your mind at any point in time? And if yes, how did you handle that? Because this is also a common problem when a candidate starts his or her preparation. He is very motivated. His motivation level is like here. And suddenly, after 3-4 weeks or 1 or 2 months, the motivation level comes here, because then you are facing the reality that it's not that easy. You have to be consistent, and you have to mug up a lot. You have to understand a lot. So did any kind of that thought come to your mind any point in time?
I think that's one common thought which comes to every aspirant, sir. But for me in specific, I used to read it very selectively, and I have strictly stick to the exam pattern and what kind of questions are being asked. And so that might be one of the probable reasons such thought hasn't come, but such thought comes at every point of stage. And you mentioned one point before, have you felt your effort would go in vain? Effort never goes in vain. If not this attempt, it would be helpful in next attempt as well. So that effort always has an edge. May not be this time, but next time.
And Ankit, there are always some key to success for everyone, or I would say keys to success. So in your case, if I have to ask you three things, three top things which are at the top of your mind right now are the key to your success, what are those three things? It might be your family, EduTap, it might be your friends, whatever, your consistency.
Right. So, sir, three keys I would like to talk about is, first key is that I did not master any subject. I'm sure people, when they look at ARD, they assume they are going to do BSc and MSc in agriculture. It's not needed. We are here only to clear the exam. So you just look at the exam pattern and prepare accordingly. EduTap summary sheets has been of immense help. Content sheets might be a little bulky, but summary sheets has been very helpful to me. It was crisp and it was up to the point. And how I used to remember the content was by solving EduTap sectional tests. Because what I believe is, in rather than reading, if you attempt more and more mocks, you can remember the stuff.
Yes.
Through questions. So first tip is that do not try to master, please. Second tip is, please give more and more mocks. Do not wait for the perfect time to start mocks. Do not just try to read the topic again and again. Do not try to get out of out in mock. It's not the final exam. So just try to read the topic, give mock, analyze, repeat. Read, mock, analyze, repeat. I think that's one good key to crack the exam, crack any competitive exam, if I want to say. And third one is that EduTap, I have strictly stick to the summary sheets and mock tests of EduTap, sir. But many aspirants, they keep accumulating the sources. There are many courses available in the market, and they keep accumulating the sources instead of actually executing it. So first of all, it's a competitive exam. Vacancies are already very less, and it's comparatively a little tougher exam compared to IBPS. First of all, there are always hurdles, and on top of that, they start accumulating the sources. So just accumulate one source, stick to it, believe in yourself, and believe in your guide. You can always sail through.
That's great. So I think those are lovely points, and this is what we also keep telling students. But I think coming from the horse's mouth will definitely help students agree to the fact of sticking to the limited sources, which is very very important, because we all have limited time, and time is one of the major challenges that we have to tackle while preparing for all these regulatory bodies.
No, I should say you are the driving forces behind making such horses. So
No, no. We see, we are just the facilitators. I think it is the effort of students which is really bearing results. And
definitely.
I'm glad to say that EduTap is of some help to all these aspirants, which was not available maybe 5 years ago. Okay. So Ankit, my next question is that now you are not from an ARD background. Now, this is also a very common question, sir. I'm not from an ARD background, and many people, just due to this simple fact, they do not prepare for NABARD. The moment they are told that there is an agriculture and rural development here, they're like, oh my God, no, this is not my cup of tea. I
Right.
think that's very normal. Even if I would have been an aspirant and somebody told me that no, you have to study agriculture, which in Indian economy is taken something as a backward step. I mean, we are never say taught agriculture in our schools, and we are always told about fancy subjects such as economics and finance. Though the reality is that agriculture is still the backbone of our economy. So, anyways, now coming to the question that being from a non-ARD background, how easy or difficult it makes your preparation, and how did you tackle that?
Right. So, sir, as I mentioned before, people, when they look at agriculture, they assume they're here for BSc and MSc in agriculture. So, you always have to be selective in agriculture as well. When you look at the questions, the emphasis has been on more agriculture government schemes.
Hmm.
And the static agriculture has slowly started losing its relevance.
Yes, yes.
So, you need not study everything. You just focus on low hanging fruits. If you're done with, you can always go for others. I'm not stopping you from anything. You can always study everything, but please focus on exam oriented questions, and keep giving mocks. That's very important for any subject, not only agriculture. I would say for ESI, English, descriptive, anything.
Hmm.
To remember something, you have to solve mocks is what I believe in,
Hmm.
because reading again and again, you just keep forgetting things. Especially for the working aspirants, there's no much time for revision. I have experienced it. So once you solve mocks, it just falls in your brain so that you can remember more.
Yes. So I think one thing which Ankit is telling repeatedly is to stick to limited sources and solve a lot of mocks. So it is very
Right.
pretty clear that he's trying to emphasize that you not only learn by reading some notes or watching some videos, you can also learn by solving mocks. So mocks is not only to test your knowledge, but also to gain knowledge. That's a very important
Yes.
purpose of giving mocks. Please try to understand that. So Ankit, that's a very good
There
suggestion.
were instances, there were actually instances without studying anything, I straight away gave mock. So I just opened the mock, submitted, and then studied through mocks. So
Actually, what happens in a mock now, say when you do it in a form of a question. So you study a question, there are four options. You will think and you will take. Even if that is wrong, and when you see
right.
the right answer, then you will not forget the logic which you applied, that
Yes,
that
sir.
was wrong and this is correct. So it,
Yes.
it directly goes into
Yes.
your permanent memory.
Yes, that's the point. People think a lot before giving mocks. They feel it's like the actual final exam. It's fine if you get negative marks in mocks. It's fine. It's fine if thousand are attempting and you're the thousandth rank. It's fine. It's just a mock. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm telling. There are instances. I just used to open the mock, submit it directly, get 0 marks, and then read everything.
Yeah. So as they say, I mean, when you are training, every failure is like a diamond for you because you're learning from it. And in the
Right.
final attempt, you have to apply all those learnings. So I
Right.
completely agree with you. I think you're doing a very candid talk, and I'm loving that. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
now I'll ask one more question, then we will move on to subject specific strategy. You gave
Sure.
NABARD earlier also, which was
Right.
your first attempt, and this was your second, though first serious attempt. But still, in the first attempt, was there any learning which you could apply in the second attempt and make it more easy or more no, strategically correct for you?
So firstly, we all know that the pattern has been changed for the first time. So last time, the mistakes, the things I have done this time, right? Sticking to the limited sources and doing mocks, I haven't done for the last 10 prelims. So I might have lost in ESI ARD as well. And since there was max reasoning and everything, banking aspirants always used to have edge till last year. But this time it's open to all. So irrespective of the background you're from, irrespective of you're preparing for banking exams or not, I have cleared IBPS, but we obviously lose the speed, right? Once you get into the job, you still don't solve that aptitude and stuff. So I lost that speed back then. So
And you realize that you need to work upon it.
Right. And this time I'm glad the pattern is changed and the edge is not there for banking aspirants.
Now, actually, I think pattern has changed for a good. Now, only the serious aspirant can clear phase 1, and your preparation for phase 1 and phase 2 are totally in sync. You need not spend separate effort on phase 1.
Yes. Previously, what happened was people, banking aspirants and those who are very good at QRE, they used to clear phase 1. But in phase 2, they, however, they could not manage it since their strength is QRE. And they were not good in ESA and ARD, they couldn't clear phase 2. So what happened was the actual good worthy candidates, they got filtered in phase 1.
Yes.
And those who could make it to phase 2 also, those also got filtered in phase 2 due to ESA and ARD.
So overall,
now that filtering process has been. Yes.
So overall, if I ask you, I think you are one of the few candidates who would admit that the pattern change was a positive change for you that helped you crack the exam.
Yes.
Yeah,
directly I'm telling you this. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, and that's even if it was not positive change, I think we should take any pattern change in a positive sense, that no, anyways it's a pattern change for everyone, and it's an opportunity, because many serious candidates would give up after the pattern change. If you can still persist yourself, you stand a good chance. So never ever think about any negative feelings about the pattern change, and pattern changes are going to happen every 4 or 5 years. That's the law of nature. So we should not be afraid of that. We should continue preparing, and eventually whatever is our knowledge, that is going to help us even if the pattern has changed.
Now, so very rightly said, pattern change is a pattern change to everyone. So I request them not to freak out looking at the pattern change.
Yeah, Ankit. Now, Ankit, coming out of the strategy of NABARD, subject-specific strategy or overall strategy, what was the overall time of preparation that you spent in the preparation of NABARD?
So the prelims was in September 18th, I believe. The prelims was on September 18th, and I have taken EduTap's course on July 1st week. So that's quite late, I believe.
3 to 4 months.
Yes.
But I think that's a decent time.
That is a decent time, and it is good when you have a smart strategy without looking for sources again and again, without accumulating sources. If you actually start executing it, it is a decent time frame.
Actually, I think that is the purpose also. My students also ask, sir, I mean, what is there in the course? I simply tell them, and the major purpose of the course is to create something out of what already exists. We are not creating something new. We are not Einsteins or some scientist out here which will create new theories. We are teaching you same things, but making it relevant, making it concise, making it in needs, making in line with the needs of the exam. That is what we do, and that's what saves the time of the candidates. And how much
very
time?
Systematic, sir. EduTap's course is very systematic.
Yeah, I think it's all about sequential and systematic preparation. What was the time that you spent on the preparation of QRE and say computer or decision making after the notification was out? Because before the notification, you might be spending time. You were not clear about the pattern change. Once the notification was out, or for the future aspirants, what is your advice? How much effort they should put in for QRE, computer and decision making, since they are just qualifying now? They are not merit-based sections.
Right. So for those non-merit sections, I believe 6 to 7 mocks should give you a fair idea. And many aspirants prepare for NABARD Grade A, RBI Grade B, SEBI Grade A simultaneously. So preparing for RBI Grade B QRE should be a cakewalk for NABARD Grade A. At least looking at the standard of questions right now. It might get tougher in future, obviously. But for now, those who are preparing for RBI Grade B, it's a cakewalk for NABARD Grade A. And for those who are not even preparing for RBI Grade B, 7 to 8 mocks should do. It should give you a fair idea.
So you're basically saying that don't spend too much effort on reading every chapter and doing a lot of practice. Instead, just doing mocks can help, because it's just a qualifying section. Okay. Now I'll be more concentrating our discussion on merit sections, because those are the same sections which are the backbone of phase 2 also. That is ARD, ESI and current affairs. So for ARD, you briefly told that being from a non-ARD background was not a challenge. You read EduTap summary sheets and all that. But still, can you tell in more detail if somebody is starting afresh, how to manage ARD, any important chapters, any ideas or any strategy to follow for ARD so that you completely read in line with the needs of the exam?
It's been a while that I have touched ARD books, sir, but what I believe important topics were, there are some very specific topics like agronomy, farm mechanization, horticulture, animal husbandry, types of farming systems. There are always specific topics which keep repeating every year.
Soil irrigation,
So
these are also asked, I think.
Yes. Types of irrigation. So, and analyzing the previous trends, see, EduTap has done a fantastic job. After every chapter, they used to mention all the previous year questions. So, when looking at that, you'll get an idea.
That's my brainchild.
Thank you.
No, yes, that helps. Okay, you continue.
Yes.
So these are the important chapters. And how do you used to read? Because when you start reading, suddenly say you are reading farm mechanization, and then there are hell lot of instruments. But okay, you can understand tractors, but then there are many other instruments which you might not have even
many
seen in your
plowing
life.
machines,
Which you have not even seen in your life. So how do you connect to that? What is the easy way out to understand all that?
Easy way to remember all that is only through mocks. I keep telling this again and again. I think farm mechanization was one of the chapter where I said before, right? Without giving any mock, without attempting any question, I just submitted directly. Because I think the first question I faced was, what is the angle between tilt and axle something? I was like, what is this? I just submitted directly. And I just started learning through questions.
And I know we are laughing now since success has been achieved, but I know this is a very big pain point for many. When you're struggling, it seems like an endless struggle that you will never be able to achieve your target. So I think that's a motivation to all of the aspirants. You can see Ankith how smartly he has strategized. Wherever he was finding it difficult, he used to solve a lot of mocks and learn it from here rather than giving up. So never give up. Always devise your own strategy. And see, there is nobody perfect out there. You can see even the candidates who have cleared, they have used some or the other jugards in the areas where they do not have strengths, especially the current affairs or the ARD. So you have to be positive about your preparation. You can't prepare 100%, right? Okay. So
and exam never asks for 100%. The cutoff is never going to be out of 4. So just clear the cutoff and stay calm. Prepare for the next phase.
Yes.
So don't focus on much perfection.
And how did you manage to study current affairs, Ankit? There are a lot of current affairs reports are there, schemes are there, and then ARD current affairs are there, ESI current affairs there, and every current affair you read, there is a lot of data. I myself try to review the news which my team has made sometimes. I see there's a lot of data and I always question them, is this relevant? And they always come up with list of questions that were asked previous years, so therefore this is relevant. So how to manage remembering so much data? I mean, I really empathize with the students, but I think that is the requirement of the exam. But how to remember? Again, I know you would say give a lot of marks to remember the data, but any other strategy you use to remember so much data?
You did not allow me to say mocks, okay. So, sir, other thing other than mocks is revision, obviously. So wherever the data is available, I used to make very little short notes. Some data I can directly remember, and some data which I could not remember. Most of the data I could not remember, and anyone could not remember, I believe. I used to make very short notes, and I used to revise it every 4 days, 1 week, or something like that. I used to usually revise it on weekend.
On weekends, you used to revise. And while you were reading, did you used to highlight the current affairs, like the important facts and figures?
No, so if I should do that, I think whole magazine gets highlighted.
Yeah, because every line and every data is important. It's already filtered out.
Yes, because you have already filtered a lot and you're giving us the important content. Again, in that, if I start highlighting, I don't know what will happen. So
can you just send me your short notes if you have with you right now? Maybe it would be really good to showcase that to our students, and maybe they get an idea how to make short notes. If you have, you can search them later.
Yes, I'll search them and mail you if I have it, sir.
And any important areas in current affairs that you would tell candidates to focus upon? You can tell important areas in reports, schemes, and ARD current affairs and ESI current affairs. So category wise.
So first focus has to be on government schemes. It's very important. And government schemes also, there are certain 6 parts which are to be repeated every year. Like what is the target year? What is the objective? When is the scheme started? And everything. In fact, for government schemes, I followed EduTap series government schemes. I used to YouTube government schemes, EduTap, NABARD. Then a series used to start and I just used to watch the videos. And the series was properly structured. Like every government scheme, that 5-6 things used to be covered. When it started, what is the objective? What is the target year? What is the budget allocated? Something like that. So first emphasis has to be on government schemes, obviously. Second emphasis, it has to be on reports, but you can't remember reports. Let me tell you this very honestly. There are many reports and you can't remember reports. So just look at the reports and try to solve mocks. If you can remember through mocks, it's fine. Or else try to study reports, because it's very tough to study reports. I accept it. It's very bulky. So that has to be your.
So you were also kind of frustrated, but you managed, keep reading, keep revising. That was the mantra.
Yes. Who don't get frustrated for all the data?
and in any focus areas that you focused on, some specific reports?
Specific reports, we always have reports like state of forest report, census report,
agriculture census, handloom
census report, handloom census,
SCCC.
Right. Now you know more than me, so I forgot.
That's the beauty. 2-3 years down the line, if I give your number to some candidate, you will be like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
At that time I was at the peak of my preparation. I cracked it. Now
Now I'm done. Yes, sir.
Now some of my relatives, their kids are preparing for CAT. They will call me. I got a very good percentile in CAT, which was 99.84. Oh, so Anchit will tell now how to. And I don't remember anything. I don't remember even what is being asked at that time. Forget how can I tell about this time? So that's the reality, and I think that is what students need to realize when Ankit was saying you need not do PhD, because you are going to forget all these within just 6 months of your being selected. So this is not going to be of any use. Whether your on-the-job training would be more useful to any other thing while working in NABARD.
Yes, exactly, sir. While I was preparing, when anyone used to ask what to study, what reports to study, it used to be on my tongue tip. I just used to say. Now when you're asking, I don't even remember what I studied.
That happens. And Ankit, what are the sources? If I ask you source for ARD, was it only EduTap's content sheets or anything else?
For ESA and ARD, I have followed EduTap's content sheets, sir. And even for the current affairs magazine, till ESA and ARD, I have followed EduTap's magazine. But for the GA part, I have followed Study IQ by Gaurav Garg sir's current affairs.
Gaurav sir, okay, that's great. So and for MCQs, what were your sources for current affairs? Because you are saying that you did a lot of MCQs. So one is EduTap. Any other source of MCQs?
So for GA part, Gaurav sir's current affairs course used to be through MCQs. He used to give 20 MCQs for every day, and that used to be through MCQs. And for ESA and ARD, also a lot of sectional MCQs are there in the EduTap's course as well. EduTap usually releases weekly magazine, and you also conduct weekly mock test for that particular magazine. So that should be enough.
That should be enough. And overall for phase 1 mock test, again, EduTap was your source?
EduTap, and if you please permit me, I would like to mention other sources as well.
Yeah, please.
I have given iExam B mocks as well.
Okay.
So they were free. So I have given it.
You gave total of around 20 marks before phase 1.
Yeah, something like 15 to 20 marks. But after solving 15 to 20 marks, also decision making was a true bouncer for me. So,
but now since you have given the exam, how would you say that one should prepare for decision making?
See, I can't give you tips, sir, because it was a bouncer for me as well. I'm not the right candidate
Okay,
to
so
give tips for
maybe
decision
I'll
making.
just elaborate on that. So I have talked to many other aspirants who have cleared this year. They are simply saying one thing: decision making in NABARD is nothing else but the management portion from RBI Grade B.
Yes,
So if
yes.
you are thorough with management portion, you might not be still able to solve 10 questions, but I think since it is a qualifying system there, if you get 7 or 8 marks, that is more than enough for you. So you can read about that because that is also a pain point for many candidates.
Yeah, 7 to 8 marks is so much, sir. But one thing I would like to advise aspirants is to stay calm in the exam hall, because looking at the decision making, many got freaked out.
Hmm.
Aspirants have to realize when it's a bouncer to one, it's a bouncer to everyone.
Hmm.
So you don't have to freak out. I think decision making, my case, I only attempted 2 to 3 questions, and fortunately, I cleared the sectional cutoff. After
Hmm.
coming out from exam hall, I was scared if I would clear the sectional cutoff or not, because the remaining part has gone decent. I was sure I will clear phase one, but the decision making sectional cutoff, I was quite scared.
And do you know your marks? How much did you score in phase one?
No, sir, the cutoff is not out yet.
The marks are not out yet, right?
Yes.
And the cutoffs are not out. Fine. And now moving on to basically descriptive English. So again, what was your style of preparing for descriptive English? Did you practice a lot, or did you watch a lot of videos on descriptive English? How did you prepare for that?
So before this, one thing I would like to tell this: English is often ignored by aspirants.
Hmm.
It is thoroughly ignored. They take it for granted. Before the exam, before the day of exam, they just look at English. They just look at the 3 questions like precis writing, letter, and essay. They learn the content and go. It's not like that. After going there, they look at the IBPS interface and get freaked out.
Hmm.
So it's important not to ignore English. If not before prelims, after the prelims result is out, also at least try to start giving English marks.
Hmm.
What I have personally followed was English marks by Clarity sir, by Sangeet sir.
Hmm.
It had sectional mock tests, and it was there was full length mock test also. And I have taken 2 English mock test series by Narvir sir also from EduTap.
Hmm.
His evaluation was quite helpful.
I'll
But
convey that to Narveer sir. I think
sure,
lot of candidates who clear give a very real good feedback of Narveer sir. So thank you for that.
sure, sir. But one takeaway from English descriptive is more than the content, please focus on the innovativeness and the free descriptive handwriting style. The flow shouldn't miss. That's officially mentioned in the notification.
Hmm.
English is not here to test your knowledge. It's only here to test your free flow. It's only here to test your grammar and your innovativeness.
Is it written in the notification? I think I've missed it then.
Uh, I think EduTap explained it before, sir. I've
Okay.
seen it there only.
I'll check. I'll check. Maybe
Yes.
again, I've forgotten because I'm not in
Yes,
touch with
yes.
the strategies of descriptive English.
Right.
And how many mock tests you gave for descriptive English? 2 you said for EduTap, and rest you said on some another platform. How many did you give there?
On Clarity platform, I think I've given around 7 to 8 mocks.
So in total, you attempted 10 mock tests,
Yes.
as in the real environment of giving the exam.
Yes, yes. And I think it's
So,
very important also, especially for English descriptive, since the IBPS interface is very new. It's very important to attempt that mocks without going directly.
and any tips to handle that very kind of secured interface where nobody is happy while typing? No, tell me,
No
is it really bad interface, or is it the time pressure which makes us believe that the interface is bad?
No, sir. I believe interface is bad. No, because there's no much time pressure for English. I believe people usually they usually have 15 to 20 minutes to proofread the answers. Also,
Hmm.
the interface is kind of bad, but that's something which cannot be changed. So we have to adopt to it. So,
So, and any tips for from your side to adapt to the interface that
maybe you can
one can
start.
do at their home? Obviously, they will not get the exact interface what IBPS is giving. Because even if
Uh,
somebody is making, they will make a good interface. They will not make a bad interface. So, how to mock that interface? The closest mock can be done at home. How?
Sir, closest interface, in fact, it can be done freely in the notepad as well. I think the
Hmm.
notepad is little closer to the actual interface, because when you type, it keeps going, and then you have to scroll all the way left, and again you have to start typing.
Hmm.
That's the actual interface even IBPS does. You type, it goes to some other end, then you have to take your mouse, scroll all the way left, and again start typing. So notepad you can start, and mocks, yes, always. I suggest EduTap and Clarity. So mocks are always there.
Hmm.
Right.
And I think when you type in that notepad, you can just diagonally reduce the size of your window. I think that will make the interface even more closer to IPPS
Yes,
interface.
yes, yes. You
Yes.
can do that as well, sir.
And how did you tackle descriptive writing? Since we are talking about descriptive English, descriptive writing is also related to this, but obviously I think it's more about content there in ARD and ESI. How did you tackle that? Was there any specific preparation, or it was like just read the content and write whatever comes to mind there in a structured manner?
No, sir. I mean, structured manner has to be there always, but I was in fact the part of Super 100 group of Telegram, of EduTap's Telegram. So what used to happen in that group was they used to post every question per day, and all the aspirants used to share their answers. What I used to do is I used to share my answer and I used to read everyone's answer. That gives you new points, that gives you new content, and that even tells you how other aspirants think from others' point of view. It's always important to think holistically in regulatory bodies exams. So the content is never scarce. You can always get content. Super 100 group has been of immense help, and
And
other
I think
source.
you also gave Big Daddy mock test.
Yes. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I have also given 3 Big Daddy mock. I'm getting scared to mention mock tests because from the starting I'm only telling mock tests. So I've given 3 Big Daddy mock tests, and I even had this NABARD silver package. So I had 3 mock tests there also, and the evaluators evaluated beautifully with such beautiful tips. Along with this, I followed DPQ series.
Here you're talking about the evaluation which is done by EduTap, right?
Yes.
The 3 mock tests. Okay,
yes.
So you like that evaluation?
I loved it.
Okay, so it was really elaborative, right?
Yes.
I mean, I am really thankful it is working, because we spent a lot of time, thinking about that. How should the evaluation be done? We are not just marking mistakes, we are also giving comments everywhere. In the end also, we are giving detailed comments. I think that is helping out. So it's really
right,
good.
Sir. In the end also feedback, I think there were particular sections, the flow, content. I don't remember the sections properly. There were 3-4 columns, and the marks were awarded separately for each column. How is the flow? How is the language? How is the content? Everything. That was something very structured and fantastic.
Good to know. Good to know. Any other tips that you would like to candidates about descriptive writing? I mean, candidates are very fearful of descriptive writing. They are very low on confidence. कि नहीं होगा, हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. What is the way out? I know it's more about lack of confidence rather than about content or English or structure. Everybody can work upon that, but start कैसे करें? मतलब आपको भी वो you must have faced that problem. How to tackle that?
So since I have this UPSC background, I did not have much problem in descriptive, but all those who do not have this UPSC background, tips I would like to give is there has to be a linking statement between one paragraph and other paragraph. I have often seen aspirants answer, usually in NABARD or any regulatory body exam, there are 3 sub questions that are being asked in one single question. 3 or basically more than 1, 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. When an aspirant tries to answer, I can't hear you, sir. Okay, so
you can continue.
Okay, when an aspirant tries to answer the question, the logical flow usually misses between a paragraph and a paragraph. So that logical link has always be there. And it's always good if you remember some reports, some values, some data, and present it in the answer. I know it's not easy, but just try to remember. Try to put some 3-4 points in the answer. I'm not asking more of it. Some 3-4 points in the answer, a structured one, and it has to be a little different from others, because that takes you to NABARD. Apart from 70,000 people, there are only 30 vacancies, especially for the unreserved category. You have to be different from them. You can't be common. So that logical flow and some innovativeness, you can be assertive as well. You can ask question in the answer. Is it possible? Question mark. And then next paragraph, you can answer the question itself. So such innovativeness, structured content with some data should be helpful for aspirants, hopefully.
Right. So it should be structured, it should be innovative, it should have data, which is very, very important. There should be proper linking between the paragraphs.
Paragraph and paragraph.
You have told some really good points. So guys, trust me, these are some simple fundas, simple ground rules that are very easy to implement once you start practicing. And if you practice 20-25 questions on these lines, it would become part of your normal writing practice.
I'm sorry, sir, I forgot to add one other tip. I think one other important point is to write the descriptive answer in points format instead of paragraph format. Because it's obvious, examiner, no, he would have corrected 100 copies by then. He can't sit and read the whole paragraph to get the points. If you just write the points, he just looks at the point, okay, good point, good point, good point, and he keeps awarding marks. So and it looks more appealing also.
So you wrote all the answers in paragraphs?
In descriptive. In descriptive essay, I have written in points. In the English, it's always good to write in paragraph. It is supposed to be written in paragraph. You can't write points there.
Okay.
So ESA and ARD have written in points. Yes.
Fine, Ankit. So I think that was more or less about phase 2. You have told about the sources, the way to prepare, the importance of mocks and everything. Now let us talk in brief about the interview. We have 5 more minutes. So how was your interview experience? Was it a kind of a cordial interview or a stress interview?
No, sir, it was very cordial. My interview was on March 3rd, and the interview started on Feb 20th. So it's like 3 days after the actual start of interview. And that scare will obviously be there, right? I'm in the starting category. So the panel was very cordial. They never grilled me. If I don't say no, they never used to question me deeper onto that. They just used to skip to the next question. So the panel has never been stressful. They never grilled me.
And you just said that now you used to say no to the answer. So is it perfectly fine if you don't know, just say no rather than blabber anything?
It's perfectly not fine to blabber anything. It's perfectly fine to say no. It's absolutely fine to say no, because the panel, they have a lot of experience and they can just see if you're faking or if you're telling truth. So it's obvious, whatever you learn, the bouncer always comes. Interviewer, he'll never ask the question on expected lines, because he's there to test your stress scale also. How do you react to the stress? So if he asks something and it's not known to you, just say no. It's perfectly fine. You cannot know everything. How much will you know? It's not possible.
So how did your interview started? What was the ice-breaking questions did they ask you?
It was common. So first question was, tell me about yourself, what kind of personality you are, and how can you be useful to NABARD, and why we should select you. It's typical HR style questions. And since I'm working in a bank, they have asked me about my business profile, what are my advances, deposits, and everything. And the other question is the NABARD contribution towards sustainable development goals. So I think those were the questions. And at the end, Chairman sir asked me if I would like to tell anything, any suggestions to NABARD. And I think when such question is asked, I would request all the aspirants to please prepare some 3-4 points about NABARD, any suggestions to NABARD. That is usually asked in every year. Usually at the end, every panel asks if you want to give some suggestions to NABARD. So please have the 3-4 points. And trust me, if you confidently tell the 3-4 points at the end, they'll really get impressed.
So what are the 2 points you told them? Because it's very risky. We are fearful that you're telling suggestions to those people who are already stalwarts in the field of agriculture. So,
right, sir.
But I know it's perfectly okay, because everybody needs improvement. So what are the points that you told them?
What points I told was, first point was to please promote themselves, sir. I just said NABARD has been promoting others so much that they're forgetting to promote themselves. I even told them the reality. Since I'm working in a rural bank, no one knows about NABARD. No farmer knows about NABARD. This I've said to the panel. Yeah. I mean, you can tell it in a constructive way. You don't have to criticize. It is the truth. They like the truth. They want to hear the truth. So I just told humbly that please promote yourself at the ground level. You're doing a fantastic, NABARD is doing a fantastic job at the ground level, but please market yourself also. Please take it to the ground level to everyone. That was one point I said. And second point was to, I mean, that's a normal one. Please invest more in R&D and the value chain supply chain. Those were the points I said.
So you had done your groundwork that they are not investing too much in R&D. You knew that before. You might be, you have read some report or something.
Right, sir. That's what I'm asking aspirants also. Please prepare 3 to 4 points, suggestions to NABARD. You can always tell it at the end. They usually ask you every year, what are the suggestions you want to give?
And how many members were there in the panel?
There were 3 members, sir. And the chairman was Gandhi, sir.
Okay, Gandhi, sir. So he's an ex-IAS officer?
Not IAS officer, sir. I'm not sure if he's IAS or something, but he's head of one of the department in RBI.
Okay. I know whom you're talking about. So I've heard about this, sir. Okay. And then other areas which they ask you apart from your HR questions and the suggestions, did they ask you about any state-specific questions of Andhra Pradesh or something?
No, sir. In my case, it was not.
It was not.
Yeah. Only in my case it was not, but in many cases they have asked.
So it was a pretty short interview, I believe.
It was around 15 minutes, sir.
15
16,
minutes.
17 minutes. Yes.
But they must have asked you something else on your in technical knowledge with respect to what is happening in economy or agriculture or something like that, or it was mostly on your work profile.
The emphasis was more on work profile. They asked me what was my loans, what was my advances, what is the highest section that the bank is giving to. I said SHGs, and I said the union. I am working in Union Bank, and Union Bank has actually topped SHG bank linkage program of NABARD that year. So I wanted to steer them towards that program because I prepared for that program. This is the best part in interview. You can always try to steer the panel towards the topic which you prepared. And other question was on watershed development fund. I forgot to mention that before. That question was also asked because I tried to steer them towards watershed development. So it's always important to steer towards whatever you have studied.
And how did you prepare for mock interview? What all preparations you did in terms of what did you study and how many mock interviews you gave?
I have attended 4 mock interviews, sir, and of course, EduTap is always the first priority I give. So I think EduTap mock interview was my first mock interview, and I was very underprepared for it. December 31st was the result, and I think my mock interview was scheduled on Jan 7th and Jan 8th. I scheduled it earlier so that the panel will not be, they'll be free, right? They'll be busy later on because aspirants will be asking for mock interviews. So the panel has given me very valuable suggestions. They in fact told me the truth. See, I'm 24 years old right now, and I'm working in a rural branch. So they just told me the fact that you're young and you're working in a rural branch. So the panel expects more from you, apart from others. I think that sounds very logical, and that has been the inspiring factor for me to push myself. So whenever I used to feel down, I used to think, okay, I'm little young and I'm working in a rural background, and I actually know the ground problems. So more can be asked, and I have to prepare more. That has been a driving force.
That's good. I think sometimes few lines help us understand the reality, and that was in your case.
Totally.
And what all did you study for your interview with respect to static portion or current affairs?
I have followed the annual report, sir, NABARD annual report. I think it's a must-do if you're going to interview. And in fact, if you can, I would suggest the aspirants to study for mains also, because it has very valuable points, NABARD annual report. I have studied the annual report, and I have studied my district-specific report. I have studied my state-specific report. Apart from that, I've studied my work profile, obviously, since I'm working. And it's also important to analyze your biodata. So more or less, the grilling might be on your biodata. So I have analyzed my biodata also to some extent. So yes, that has been, actually the major learning has been through mock interviews only, sir. The term mock stand important for me in every phase, not only in interviews, right? From prelims to interview, mocks helped me a lot. I'm telling you this.
No, I can understand that, and that's true. I mean, stick to one strategy which you believe is the
right.
core path for you, and that will surely help you. The problem is that candidates switch on from one book to another, one source to another, one strategy to another. They are not clear what they require, and that is the problem. So I would request everyone to follow this very clearly in your mind, that everybody is unique, and this uniqueness is in fact makes you beautiful. So please follow your own strategy, what suits you based upon your strengths and weaknesses, and that shall take you, I mean, ahead leaps and bounds by others. It's not only about clearing NABARD or RBI or SEBI. I mean, after going there also, it's going to be a big challenge in life. There is always going to be fight for promotions, fight for best projects, fight for increments. So you have to perform, and you will be able to perform only if you sort yourself right now rather than tweaking yourself as per others. So that was really nice talking to you, Ankith. And in the end, any message that you would like to give to the current aspirants or the future aspirants, because they look up to you as a star, as a role model. So what is your advice to them?
Star is a very big word, probably, but
no. It's no less an achievement, Ankith. Maybe 5 years down the line, you will forget about your struggles, but just imagine if you would not have cleared this year, how frustrating, how demotivating it must have been for you. I mean, so
definitely,
I think you are a star. At least in my eyes, you are like, you are a star. And in fact, everybody who is working hard is a star in my eyes, because it's all about effort. If you make effort, you will reach somewhere. If not NABARD, maybe X, Y, Z organization where
Yes,
you
sir.
will have a beautiful career.
Right.
And sorry for interrupting here. Please continue with what is your advice to the current or the future aspirants of NABARD?
Right, sir. So three mistakes I would request aspirants not to do is, firstly, as I emphasized a lot before, do not master anything. Just a limited, just read limited, but revise it completely again and again and again so that you can remember the stuff. That's my first point. Do not master anything. Do not master everything. Second point is that the timing of mocks. Read, mock, analyze, repeat. As I have said this before also, but please do not keep reading. You can't remember stuff like that. It's very important to give mock, and it's very important to solve the given question within the given time. It's not like the time is unlimited. You have to solve the exam within the given time. So mocks are very important. Third point is that don't keep accumulating the sources. Just stick with one source and believe in yourself and believe in your guide. That should be enough.
I love the consistency here. When I asked you, tell me three keys to your success, you exactly told these 3 points, what you are telling right now. It means you have clarity in your mind. I love this consistency. That is what students need to embrace. Well, thank you, Ankit. It was really nice talking to you on this hot Sunday out here. But I think you gave some very cool advice to all the aspirants, which is surely going to help them in their future preparation for NABARD. Thank you. Have a nice day and wish you best of luck. You are joining one of the esteemed organizations of India. I hope you will make our country proud.
Sure,
Bye-bye.
sir. Thank you so much. Looking forward. Thank